Hi, I'm Nicola. I'm the director at Mediterm Training, and this video is going to tell you a little bit about our Level 1 Introduction to Medical Terminology course. Our sessions are delivered via Microsoft Teams, and each course is 4 hours long. This is either in 2-hour sessions across 2 days or 4 hours split across a day with breaks. The comment here is from a student which I think perfectly sums up the positive impact of attending one of our courses. It's like a light has just been switched on and I now understand more of what I'm doing. Students register for the course via our website, where during the registration process they'll be assigned a login for our student portal. Students log into the portal to access all the materials needed for the session, and this is where they'll find the link to the Teams session as well. This slide shows who the course is suitable for. We've got medical secretaries, coders, ward clerks, etc. And the image here is a screen grab from a recent session showing the job titles of all the attendees. You can see we've got quite a range of job titles there. This course serves as an introduction to those wanting to understand the basics of medical terminology. Something that isn't really taught at any point unless you attend a specific course like ours. There's many assumptions that people should just know terminology, but it's such a vast subject, and once the basic rules and principles are understood, we often find that attendees develop a real interest in medical terminology and wish to develop that knowledge further. If this is the case, they can progress to our Level 2 and Level 3 courses, and you'll find more information about those on our website. So we do pack a lot into the 4 hours. As you'll see here, we cover the basics of medical terminology, which includes word building, so understanding each component of a medical term by breaking it into roots, prefixes and suffixes. As we go through the session, students complete a table of these common roots, prefixes and suffixes to take away with them, which serves as a handy reference point for them. We also cover anatomy and physiology relating to each of the main body systems. To fully understand the terms we discuss, we believe a basic knowledge of anatomy and physiology is required. There's no point in explaining the medical term for the gallbladder, for example, if the student doesn't know what the gallbladder is, why we have one, why we can live without one, for example. We introduce some common terms and abbreviations used in drug prescribing, as well as common medical abbreviations. You really would be surprised at the number of people who don't know that a CVA is a stroke and that an MI is a heart attack. We cover hospital specialities, explaining what happens in an endocrinology department, for example. And finally, common blood tests, why they would be requested and what those results might indicate. So here's an example of how we teach roots, prefixes and suffixes, introducing each element together with its meaning and then linking them together to create a medical term which they can define using their knowledge of each element of the word. And you'll see here our slide about the digestive system. So prior to this slide, we watch a video to cover the anatomy and physiology side of things, and then we link that to the word parts that you can see in this table. We use the chat function throughout so students can interact during the session and answer questions. We also use remote polling and quizzing via an app that's accessed through their phones to test their knowledge as we go through and keep the sessions really interactive. So here's an example of the types of definitions that students will be able to provide the terms for once they've attended the training. This is presented in the session as a short quiz with students giving their answers through the chat function, and we discuss where things might go wrong, how things might be easily confused and how to amend any errors like that. So as the previous slides have shown, we really do aim to keep the sessions fun and engaging through the use of quizzes, videos, the chat function. We label diagrams, complete tables, as well as the app that I mentioned. You'll see a list of the course benefits here: improved efficiency and output, less time Googling unfamiliar terms, an increased understanding, which brings confidence and more interest in work, a reduced number of errors made, and understanding the risks involved in not fully understanding a term. For example, confusing hypertension with hypotension. They now have the skill to know why that might lead to a risk in a patient. Attendees also report greater communication with patients and colleagues. And you can see a statistic here about workflow. Up to 80% of correspondence can be directed away from a GP by admin staff that have a knowledge of this medical terminology. And that equates to about 40 minutes per day of a full-time GP's time. It also provides opportunities for career progression, as well as the progression that I mentioned to our level 2 and level 3 courses. This final slide just shows a statistic that we're really proud of, that 100% of people who have attended our course would recommend it to others. You can see that this is based on nearly 1,900 responses. You can also see that 93% of students felt that their knowledge increased either a lot or significantly as a result of the training. And lastly, there's a screen grab there of the chat at the end of a session, clearly showing how much people enjoyed the session and found it interesting. At the end of the course, all students receive a certificate of attendance, which counts as 4 hours of CPD activity, as well as a comprehensive handout, which can be printed out from the portal. And that's it. Thank you for listening.